history of Ferrari. Ferrari is one of the world's most admired luxury sports car automakers. The company officially launched in 1947. However, the automaker's legendary founder and namesake Enzo Ferrari was involved in the industry long before then. Born in Modena, Italy in 1898, Enzo Ferrari started out as a race car driver. In the 1920s, he was made a driver with Alfa Romeo and won several racing awards, including the second Circuito di Modena. In 1929, Ferrari founded the Scuderia Ferrari, now the official race car division for Ferrari. It began, however, as a division of Alfa that specialized in preparing race cars to gentlemen drivers. This was at a time when sports car racing was really taking off as an activity for the rich and famous, who were really the only ones who could afford it. In 1931, Enzo finished in second place at the Circuito Tre Province, which would be his last time competing as a driver. He wanted to focus on his family and the birth of his first son Alfredo, more commonly called Dino. Despite working with Scuderia and building cars for Alfa until 1939, Enzo Ferrari left his position as head of Alfa Corse to form his own car company, Auto Avio Costruzioni, in Modena, Italy. He was required not to use the Ferrari name in association with any of his cars or races for at least 4 years after leaving Alfa. As a result, the company name wasn't changed to Auto Costruzioni Ferrari until 1957, and the first car to bear the Ferrari name was released in 1947 as the Ferrari 125S. In 1945, Ferrari introduced its signature V12 engine. The first Ferrari model, the 125S or 125 Sport, rolled out of the Maranello factory in 1947, nearly 10 years after Enzo left Alfa. Although only 2 models were initially produced, the car was entered into its first race in May of that year and won the Rome Grand Prix. After the factory in Modena was bombed during World War II, the company moved to Maranello and built the legendary factory that it still uses today. Over the next few decades, Ferrari continued to thrive, with its cars competing in and winning major races such as the Mille Miglia, 1948, Le Mans 24-hour race, 1949, and the Formula One World Championship Grand Prix, 1951. In the 1950s, Luigi Chinetti opened the first Ferrari showroom and dealership in the United States, making Ferraris available to wealthy racing enthusiasts for the first time. The showroom, originally in Manhattan and later in Connecticut, helped to establish the lucrative Ferrari market in the US, which remains one of the most important markets for the company. In 1956, Enzo Ferrari's eldest son Dino passed away from muscular dystrophy, marking a tragic turning point for the company. The 1960s saw more changes, as chief engineers Carlo Citti and Giotto Bizzarini left to form a competing auto company called ATS in 1961. Their departure was reportedly due to disputes over the involvement of Enzo's wife Laura in running the company. Mauro Forghieri, an engineer, and Sergio Scaglietti, a body designer, were brought in to complete the 250 GTO, which became one of the most iconic sports cars ever made. In the late 1960s, Enzo recognized that the company needed a partner to face the challenges of the market and competition. In 1969, the Fiat Group acquired a 50% stake in Ferrari, which helped the company continue to succeed. Enzo Ferrari's final model, the F40, was released in 1987. Enzo passed away at the age of 90 the following year, and the Fiat Group increased its ownership of the company to 90%. After Enzo's death, Luca di Montezemolo was appointed as the new chairman of Ferrari from 1991 to October of 2014. He was replaced by the current CEO, Sergio Marchionne, and plans were announced to separate Ferrari from the Fiat Group. In 2015, the Ferrari NV became an IPO and launched on the New York Stock Exchange at a value of nearly $10 billion, and Milan Stock Exchange in 2016. Besides being known for producing some of the best and fastest cars in history, Ferrari is most associated with its symbol, the cavallino rampante, or the prancing horse, and its vibrant red color. The red color was just part of the tradition. By regulation, international motor racing cars from Italy were required to be painted red. After the 1960s, it was no longer required, but Ferrari wanted to stick with the tradition and kept it around. Now, it is part of the brand's overall image. The attachment to Ferrari red goes so far that in the 1990s, at least 85% of owners had the color. As for the famous logo of the black prancing stallion on a yellow background, the inspiration came from war hero Count Francesco Baracca. Enzo himself was enlisted in the Italian army during the war. Baracca was an Italian Air Force pilot in World War I, and on the side of his plane there was a painted horse. On the plane, the horse was red, but for the Ferrari logo, the color was changed to black. The Ferrari brand is one of the most iconic in the world. Since it first began, the Italian car maker has won over 5,000 prizes and competed in tracks all over the globe. When it comes to Formula One racing, Ferrari holds the title for the longest-standing and most successful competitor. We hope you have enjoyed the video. Please, don't forget to subscribe, like, leave us a comment with your thoughts about Ferrari, and share it with a friend. Have a great week.